McGregor making his return to the octagon this year may not be as huge as you might think. It might be good news for Dana White, because it means more money. But for true MMA fans, Conor is a thing of the past. I mean, the guy is way past his prime. He hasn't fought in almost 2 years. And out of his last 4 fights, guess how many he won? Just one. Yup, just a single win in 4 fights over 3 years.
Competition. I love competition. I love it. It's getting harder to find it. Getting harder and harder to find it.
As impossible as it may sound, it's true. I mean, Khabib made an absolute joke out of him, and Poirier beat him pretty handily twice. And the only win he had was against Donald Cerrone, who was pretty much on the way out already.
These featherweights don't understand. Until they get hit by me, it's a whole other ball game when they get hit by me. So I said I'd knock him out in the first round.
So he hasn't done anything for the sport for quite some time now. That is, except for running his mouth whenever he could, and not being able to back it up in the cage.
I mean, the man is running scared. I cannot force a man who is not willing to step in.
I wonder how long it'll be until Dana realizes that he needs to stop encouraging this guy. That makes him and the UFC look biased.
Khabib is from Russia, too.
Okay.
There was some kind of Russian stuff going on between those two in New York, and Khabib slapped him.
But then again, he allowed Conor to drop out of the USADA's pool. Seriously, guys, you didn't think it could have happened without Dana telling them to do so.
He picked up the phone and called Conor.
That's
said,
embarrassing,
Khabib
isn't
slapped me. Conor fueled up the G650 and...
Nothing happens in the UFC without the knowledge of its head honcho. He seems to really like micromanaging everything. So McGregor leaving USADA's testing pool didn't happen on its own. Someone must have gotten involved to get him out of it, because he wasn't retiring, he just wanted to recover. And that might sound fine and all, but using steroids and performance-enhancing drugs to recover is not fine, especially in combat sports.
I want to speak to everyone in the crowd. 4 years ago, I fought in London at a place called the HMV Forum in front of about 500 people.
I understand that he suffered a horrible injury, but that doesn't justify leaving the testing pool. Of course, something like using performance enhancers wouldn't be made public by the Irishman, but all you've got to do is look at him right now.
I am the rule. I'm the only rule in this game, so it doesn't matter weight divisions. Nate said he was ready to fight at any time, but, well, he wasn't. He wasn't ready to fight at 155.
I mean, the guy is absolutely jacked. There's no way he could have packed on that much muscle in such a short amount of time. A lot of fighters, including Poirier, Rafael dos Anjos, Justin Gaethje, Paulo Costa, and Anthony Smith, have called out McGregor for his drug use.
And they literally called me and said, we're being attacked right now by Conor McGregor. And I'm like, what? We turned around, drove back to the arena, and he was already gone.
Even Joe Rogan expressed that Conor's pee would melt that USADA cup on his podcast. And if the Irishman manages to recover completely, will he be the same? I doubt it. He hasn't been the legendary dual champion of old for some time now, and he snapped his leg in half in his last fight against Poirier in 2021.
If you're looking to a fight that could generate interest, it must be across a match of different styles.
I don't see how someone can make a complete recovery after something like that. Now, there have been reports that Conor has had surgery and now has titanium in his leg. Plus, he used all those PEDs and whatnot to speed up the healing process, but he still wouldn't be the same. There are fighters who've had similar injuries in the past. Take Anderson Silva, for example. He was never the same after his injury. And to top it all off, Conor is 34 years old now. He's not a young man anymore. Everything starts becoming worse with age.
I am happy that I have put martial arts in the spotlight in my country and shown it for what it is.
His cardio won't be as good, his reactions won't be what they used to be, and he'll have a hard time in the cage with the younger fighters.
Work hard, put in the time, you will succeed, and that is a philosophy that I carry, my coaches carry. And
plus, he's not focused on fighting anymore. He's more concerned with making more money. From his embarrassing stint in boxing, to launching his own brand of whiskey, to making a Hollywood debut, he lacks the discipline required by MMA fighters.
You know, I made history here tonight. I set another record. I'm the first fighter in UFC history to secure knockout victories.
And sure, he still wants to fight, but it's pretty clear that it won't be happening anytime soon. Why? Because he has to be in USADA's testing pool for at least 6 months before he can compete. And since he hadn't been a part of it since his injury, he had to be tested before he could step into the octagon.
I'm absolutely blown away by the support. I can't put into words how grateful I am for everyone.
Now, the UFC could have made an exception for their golden boy, but that would have been too much, even for Uncle Dana. So what they did instead was bring him on as a coach for The Ultimate Fighter Season 31. The coach opposite him will be Michael Chandler. White confirmed this just recently. The two men will help train a batch of fighters each, who will then compete in the TUF series.
I always carry Ireland with me anywhere I go on the planet, and the Irish come with me wherever I go on the planet. So
the show is set to begin sometime in May and will be done by August. At the end of it, though, Dana has granted McGregor a fight to mark his return. That's right, guys. We know when Conor is going to fight. Well, sort of. The exact date of the bout and the location have yet to be decided, but the UFC boss has confirmed that it's going to happen all right. And his opponent? Michael Chandler, of course.
I truly believe we are all equal as human beings. If we are obsessed with something and we truly pursue our passion with everything we have.
Now, the Iron wanted this fight more than anything. He even admitted that this was the red penny night for him. Any fight with Conor is a big money fight. You've got to give him credit for this.
There's a reason why we're at the top of the game. Because of me and because of you. And I appreciate every single one of you. Look, what's next for me, Joe?
The guy sure knows how to pull in a crowd, and that's precisely what Chandler is looking for. Uncle Dana sure does reward his loyal company men. Chandler has been exactly that. His record in the UFC isn't too great. He has lost 3 out of his 5 fights for the promotion, and somehow he still gets what he wants. While amazing fighters such as Beneil Dariush are still waiting for their title shots, Dana leans towards the guys that can pull in pay-per-views. That's a fact.
You know, I like this weight division. I feel really good. It's good going up and down. I don't believe I'm there yet, though. You know, I just got work to do.
Because at the end of the day, this is all just business to him. And what could make him more money? McGregor versus Chandler. Both of these guys are performers. The crowd likes their energy, and coaching opposite each other in TUF is only going to build more hype around their fight, which is most likely going to take place in the welterweight class. I mean, have you seen Conor's size? There's no way he can fight anywhere below that, and Chandler is willing to take it. Why wouldn't he, though? Whatever pays best, right? But I fail to understand why Dana keeps pushing someone like McGregor on us. Yes, he was once a very good fighter a long time ago, but he isn't exactly a role model. Trash talking in sports is fine. Sometimes it's even necessary to build hype around a match, but he takes it too far all the time. You guys remember his comments on Khabib's late father, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov? That was just below the belt. And not to mention, he's also gotten into scraps with the law multiple times. There was the bus incident in the build-up to the fight against Khabib. Conor had an arrest warrant issued by the New York police. Imagine that. And there were also traffic incidents in the past, along with him assaulting senior citizens. What kind of man does that? There was also the case of indecent exposure and a couple of years ago. This guy knows no boundaries. And most recently, he was accused of assaulting a woman on his yacht. The poor thing had to jump off the boat because she was afraid for her life. Even after all of this, Dana wants to keep Conor around? A fighter who's way past his prime doesn't bring anything new to the cage and does nothing but cause trouble everywhere he goes. Doesn't make much sense, to be honest. The UFC should just cut off all ties and work on bringing in a fresh face for the sport. They have an amazing roster after all, and that shouldn't be an issue for them. Well, that's been all the reasons why McGregor is done. See you in the next one.